This is Business Anonymous. I started doing business since I was 18, full-time at least, but I've started doing business selling trading cards even when I was in school since I was 10 years old. I'm doing this solo podcast anonymously so that no one that I work with see this and that there's no conflict of interest. This is for business people and I'll share my philosophies, frameworks, thought processes, everything. I learned to do a poor man's teleprompter and script my videos. So this is gonna sound silly, but today when I started kind of like doing content, like yesterday I had filmed a video of myself like doing the first long form YouTube video that I'll be kind of like posting once I get better, which is basically like I got scammed $10,000 by an employee at 23, what I learned. And the thing is like yesterday when I was like editing my video in iMovie, I kind of thought that it was a bit like it was not going very well. So yesterday when I filmed the video, I had some talking bullet points, but it was all like, I felt that when I was editing, the way I was speaking and everything was kind of like all over the place. And even though there's a story or an experience that I was recounting, the lessons, I wasn't able to like make the lessons flow along with the story as well as I wanted to, you know? Like I think yesterday I said too much of the story before I had even gotten to the third or fourth lesson. So today, like last night, I wrote down a to-do list for myself today. And on that to-do list was a bullet point, which is rewrite or rescript basically the video and keep filming until I can get it right. So this morning, like I sat down in my bed with my MacBook open and I basically like typed out or scripted out the video. And how I do it is like, how I did it was like in my head, I was basically saying exactly like how I would imagine me talking, but then I would like type it out. And I broke it up into three core parts: your intro, your body or your meat of the video, and then the ending. And then within the body of the video, I kind of wrote, within the body of the video, I wrote that you have for context, blah, blah, blah. So first give context, then lesson 1, whatever the first lesson is, lesson 2, lesson 3, so on and so forth. And then in the scripting, I also like use the square braces to kind of write down like show a photo of the letter, like show a graphic of this, show a meme of this. So I think that this will hopefully help me when I'm doing the editing and post-production, when I know exactly like when to add screenshots and what screenshots to add, rather than me rewatching it later and just adding stuff, you know, on my own. I think that this is perhaps like what other content creators mean when they say like 1 hour in pre-production saves 10 hours in post-production. I'm not really sure, but you know, kind of like doing this experience, I kind of like truly understand that point now. So what did I do exactly today? When I finished scripting the video, I think I spent about an hour or so scripting the one video, since it's like my first time. And then I sat down, I took my protein powder, like big box or container, and I put my MacBook on it. And then I took my tripod, put my iPhone on it, and basically increased the height of the tripod to the point where the camera is directly above where the inbuilt camera for your MacBook usually is. So because the camera on your iPhone is like skewed to obviously one side of it, so actually like you kind of have to move the tripod a little bit to the right so that the camera is exactly the same place where inbuilt camera of your MacBook is. You know, if you try to set this up, you know exactly what I mean. And then I also realized that because I have everything written on Notion, the computer screen, the length of it is quite wide. So when you read it from left to right, you can actually tell that your eyes is moving, like your eyes moving left and right when I rewatched the footage. So what I did actually was that I narrowed the length of Notion, you know, to as narrow as I could read it and not have it be too weird. And then like I basically would have the sentence I want to read at the very, very top of the MacBook computer screen. And so each line, each sentence, or each half sentence I read, I have my mouse on my right hand, and I'm also like scrolling up a little bit by little bit, line by line. So this way, like I'm literally reading it line by line. Like obviously, if I find that in the moment there's something that I want to say, I do say it. But to that effect, I'm basically kind of like doing it, reading a poor man's like teleprompter basically that I created myself. And so this way, like the camera's at the front, it still seems like I'm making eye contact to the camera. And I think it works pretty well, you know? I do think that I could have probably been further away from the camera with like the lens distortion and all of that, but I think that it's pretty much solid. So after that, I, had lunch, I went for an afternoon walk, and then when I came back from my walk, I was pretty happy with the results. And so I had 4 videos that I had like created the title of and had planned. And so I basically kind of like took 3 out of 4 of those videos and I rescripted the entire thing. I've been doing this for like the last hour and a half or so, and I'm done with 3 out of 4 of them, including like when to kind of add graphics. And I think that the story now flows better from the first to the 4th story, like this flows all the way. And for my side of it, I didn't kind of script the 4th video because I think that the story isn't big enough. Meaning that the 4th video that I didn't script is titled I accidentally found the best way to deliver 10 out of 10 service in a B2B business. But the story that I have is that I got a web maintenance complaint one time, whatever, about a rude email that apparently my team sent. I find that that story isn't big enough. Like, I think the lessons in the video that I came up with are pretty good, but I don't think that the story is big enough. So my plan is tomorrow I'm going to think back on some past experiences where I got ops complaints and maybe come up with a bigger story that can encapsulate all of the lessons of that. So yeah, that's my plan for tomorrow and pretty keen on it. So let's just see how that goes tomorrow. I've got high hopes. Yeah. But I think today is definitely a good day. And, I think that as long as I work every single day, I get to learn and improve one small thing. And eventually, like all of these behavior changes like add up. And then the progress really seems noticeable. And that's how you come up with like strategies, It sounds silly, but I didn't even think of doing a teleprompter and scripting approach because I thought that scripts equals to inauthentic. But obviously right now, I don't think that's true anymore. And I think that as long as I'm the actual person writing the scripts, then it will sound natural and authentic to myself. And it will actually help the whole video be better. And I think that's ultimately the goal. So I didn't even have this belief like 2 days ago. So I think this just kills the power of consistency.